Howard. Howard, you need to leave.
Who are you? Me? Nobody.
Showtime, folks. We're talking about that scene where Howard dies. I mean, out of context, those words might sound a bit meh. When you actually put in the context of who that villain is, what all he has done, and when you have watched the show, you really feel scared in that scene. I mean, that scene got our heart rates up. I remember my heart was pounding against my chest. Like, I was thinking, what's gonna happen next? And not to be glazing too much, but I watch a lot of shows, and I rarely felt like that in any show I've ever watched. I haven't even felt that kind of fear even while watching horror movies. So, what's up? Like, why does this scene of Lalo entering the room and, killing Howard, why does that have so much impact? Why does it feel so scary? When I watched the scene for the first time, the first thing I asked myself is, why did I feel this way only for Lalo? I mean, surely there were more brutal villains in the Better Call Saul Breaking Bad universe. There was Tuco, and there was Hector, the Salamanca twins. There was Gus, the greatest villain in one of cinema history, perhaps. And there was Todd Alquist. So why did I feel this way only for Lalo and none of the others? Tuco is the kind of guy who kills his own men over nothing, right? I mean, it wasn't even a disagreement. That guy was backing him up, and Tuco kills him. There's Gus killing his own man again, Victor, and even though it wasn't in the same style as Tuco, not the Salamanca signature brutality involved, Gus did kill him out of nowhere, and it was shocking. And it was his own man. That too for backing him up, arguably showing a skill. That's a whole different story. But thing is that you have seen these villains kill before. You've seen Todd Alquist kill Jesse, that kid who saw them steal all the chemicals, and you have seen him kill Jesse's girlfriend, Andrea, I think. So thing is, you've seen those people do it, and yes, those scenes are shocking, and they do make the villain very terrifying. So, but yet it doesn't have the same impact as that scene that Lalo comes in. I felt a primal fear, like I was sweating when that scene came in, but I felt nothing of this kind with all the other villains. I didn't feel that way for Tuco, neither for not even the Salamanca twins. I mean, they are scary as hell. I didn't feel that way for Hector. I didn't feel that way for Gus. I didn't feel that way for Todd either. So, why him? Why Lalo? Let's start from the beginning. His introduction. I mean, signature Breaking Bad style, his introduction wasn't very pompous, wasn't very cinematic. You see Nacho entering the restaurant that they usually collect the cash at, and you see everybody sitting over there, and then there's this guy dancing and cooking, singing the songs of whatever the Spanish song was playing in the background. I mean, when that scene came in, I thought, okay, I didn't even think that Lalo is a villain. I thought, okay, this guy, I thought Nacho is scarier than Lalo. I mean, he even assures Nacho that I'm just here to keep things running in my uncle's absence, and I don't want to step on any toes. I mean, he's all smiling, very charming guy, and you don't get the vibe of a villain instantly. you think, okay, this guy is just here to sell business and he'll be gone. But you know that he's a Salamanca. I mean, he says that he's Eduardo Salamanca. People call him Lalo. So, if he's a Salamanca, there has to be something off about him. Slowly, the veil starts to slip, and we start to see what kind of a guy he is. Now, in the Breaking Bad universe, like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, there are three types of villain archetypes, at least three that I've noticed. First ones are like the Salamancas, Hector and the twins and Tuco. They are like absolute brute force. They are emotional as hell. They would they get pissed off easily and would kill over anything. And they're the kind who brainlessly kill and kill first and ask questions later type of people. Then there's Gus, who's like totally very calculated, very precise. He thinks 10 steps ahead. Plays the whole game like a chess match, right? Like he's got a very masked persona. The Salamancas don't really care how they look, right? Like they don't care about putting up a face in front of people. But Gus, on the other hand, he puts up a mask that he almost never lets slip under even the most stressful situations. He's charming. He is very friendly to people initially while talking. He has got a good other life uh, going on, which he has to put up a face for. And then there's Todd Alquist. He is the typical psychopathic villain. He's cold. He kills in cold blood. He doesn't. There's no remorse behind those eyes, right? There's only coldness. Like if you go past what those eyes are showing and you peer into his brain, you'll see nothing. It's just blank. And he even enjoys killing, and he even revels in the suffering of others. Like a total lack of empathy, and it's as if he can't comprehend that others are suffering. He sees them as less than human, like as if they are toy things or playthings, right? So those are the three types of villains that are there in Breaking Bad, and I think how it must have gone when Better Call Saul was being made. They wanted a new villain, something exciting. So I think Peter Gould and Vince Gilligan were like, hey, what if all these villains had a wild orgy and a baby was born? That was Lalo Salamanca. If you actually think about it, Lalo inherits he's like a fusion of all these three villain archetypes in Breaking Bad. He's got like Gus's patience and intelligence. He's got his charm, and he puts up a face. He's got the Salamanca brutality for sure. Like he kills brutally, and he also enjoys suffering and shows a very significant lack of empathy, like Todd. So I mean, instantly when he comes into the show, he's putting up a face. He's charming and all that. And I don't think he's actually putting up a face voluntarily like Gus does. It's just the way he is. So I think it's more of a built-in psychology for that character rather than more like Todd Alquist. Even if it's him being charming, he can, switch it on and play it to charm other people. But I think he is naturally like that. The character is like that. So we see immediately after he comes into the show, he's charming and smiling. Then you see Gus's characters in him. You see him being patient and observant. You see him plotting and being 10 steps ahead. I mean, the guy outsmarted Gus almost towards the end of the show. The other Salamancas, they lack the level of perseverance and patience that this guy has. This guy comes to the show and he's sitting on a hilltop and observing the Gus Fring's activities in the chicken farm, like the people moving, the guards moving, and all that. And of course, there's a scene of him sitting in the drain and looking uh, and observing the whole activities going on in the laundry. So he's got that level of patience. And in the end, he also has the brutality of the Salamancas, obviously. I mean, in the end, he even dies smiling. Like, he's clearly a very complex, very dangerous character. So, that is true, but that still doesn't explain why the scene that we were talking about was so scary. For that, we gotta look at Lalo's kills, Lalo's victims. Let's start with the first kill that he makes in the show, the travel wire kid. He wanted uh, the motives for that kill were that he wanted to access the videos, but then he could have just knocked out the kid cold or just held him at gunpoint and watched the video. He could have, he could have worn a mask maybe to hide his face if that's what he was worried about. But he seems to be too careless and too lazy to go through all that trouble, and instead he just picks the easy way and kills the kid. But he's not really a lazy guy. We know that. We have seen what he can do for the sake of, you know, trapping someone. We have seen him being observant and perseverant and patient. So I guess he killed the kid for fun. That's the only reasonable explanation, right? Then there's the after the assassination attempt on him, he escapes the place, and then he comes to this Hispanic couple's home in Mexico, right? They already know him. The wife invites him in, and the husband comes in shortly, and then he goes. He says that the wife tells him to go shave his beard, and then he goes for that. Then we see Lalo, preparing himself to kill the wife. We see him take out the, knife or scissors, I think, and then uh, shortly after, the husband is killed. Obviously, he is made to shave his beard in a way that replicates Lalo's face, so that he can hide the the fact that he was alive. He could fake his death, use the man's body as a decoy. He did that. That was the second motive. He killed Freddy for the video access. He killed these this nice couple for faking his death. Then there's the German builder. He goes all the way to Germany. He goes into the woods and to track down one of the builders who built that place. I mean, even though they never showed him completely, I mean, showed him actually kill this guy. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that he won't leave any witnesses. So, like, he won't leave the guy alive so that he can warn the others. So it's safe to say he killed the other guy, right? And in the end, obviously, we see Howard getting killed by him. So that's what the trial wire kid, the Hispanic couple, the assassins and smugglers, the German builder, and finally Howard. That still doesn't answer the question about why does Howard's death feel so different. Like, I mean, innocent people get killed all the time in movies. I mean, there are worse killing scenes and worse, even more brutal deaths, and under even more brutal, unforgiving circumstances in other shows and movies. But, and we actually see uh, villains killing innocent people all the time. And that's exactly why. Because we never actually see Lalo kill anyone, do we? I know it might sound counterintuitive, but you gotta see the pattern over here. Lalo's first kill, he comes in, he points the gun at the kid, but you never hear a gunshot, you never see him killing, you just see the aftermath, you just see the body of you know, the kid, and you don't even see the face of the kid. You just see his legs lying in the corner ambiguously. Like, it's as if it like creates a disconnect. Then there's the scene of the Hispanic couple. Even there, he only pulls out the knife to kill the wife. They never actually show him killing the wife. And then they cut to him, coming to the husband. And then even there, he's smiling. They never actually show him killing the husband. Heck, even the German builder, they do, like I said before, they show him harm the guy brutally, but that too, it was towards the end of the show. By that time, things were slowly building up. I think that was deliberate, that they showed his brutality. Heck, even during the when he's killing the smugglers, when he's trying to cross the border, it all happens off screen. You just hear sounds of gunshots and everything, and then you see bodies. But you gotta note that with the actual innocent victims over here, uh, truly innocent victims who weren't involved in any crime whatsoever, Freddy, the travel wire kid, and the Hispanic couple, you don't actually see their bodies. You don't see even their faces after death. And that leaves a certain type of effect in our minds. Like, we are disconnected. I think mentally, subconsciously, even though we know that this guy killed these people, it kind of creates a disconnect mentally from his character and his actions. All you see Lalo doing is smiling and charming and talking to people, being nice. At most, you see threats. And even those times when he's threatening people, you actually have the kind of rush, have the kind of fear, as if it's a precursor of this what's about to come when you watch the Howard killing scene. So I think that kind of taps into the fear of the unknown for us, because we never actually see it happen. So what happens when all of this culminates into that scene where Howard dies? We see Lalo come in, and our anticipation is rising. Like, we know what this man has done, what he's capable of, how many he has killed. And you see him take out the gun, and before we realize it, Howard is shot mid-sentence. There's blood, there's a gunshot, there's Howard falling on the floor and his face staring blankly into the distance. The blood is pooling. That's the first time we actually see those kind of visuals for Lalo Salamanca. We Because till now the writers had very cleverly detached all of those visuals from him. All that hidden violence comes crashing into one moment, and that's why that 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 fear, that subconscious fear, rises later on when when he meets Ziegler's wife. Even then he pulls the gun out, and we think that, oh damn, he's gonna kill her too. And we get that sort of fear when he's questioning, when Lalo came the first time to Jimmy's house, and he asked him to narrate the story again and again. That anticipation was there. It was menacing. And then that's the fear that we feel when we finally see Howard being killed. I think the fear of the unknown is what that made that scene so terrifying. So in the end, Lalo isn't scary because he kills. He's scary because we never know when, and we never see it happen. That scene wasn't scary because of the elements in that scene alone. It was a culmination of all the episodes worth of build up that Lalo had got. His actions, everything. That's why that scene is so scary. If you liked my video and you liked the way I talk about writing, you can check out my book, Solar Throne. It's out now on Amazon. Link in description. And also, I have a genuine question for those who are watching this. How do you think you could um, replicate this sort of writing into books? Because the main key over here is that we never actually see Lalo killing these people. It is only implied, and that is done visually through cinematic shots. I'm wondering how could you replicate that into writing in the form of a book. So comment down below, and thanks for watching.